Good morning, children. Welcome back in class 8 science class of chapter 8. In previous video, you have read about the conservation of forest and wildlife. Now, there is national parks, wildlife sanctuary. See what is difference between wildlife sanctuary and national parks, children. National park provides protection to both flora and fauna, whereas wildlife sanctuary provides protection and favorable condition to only fauna, only animal, not flora. First difference. Second difference is in national park grazing is not allowed. वहाँ गायों को चरने का अनुमति नहीं है. But in sanctuary grazing is allowed. Next difference. Cultivation of land is not allowed in a national park, whereas in sanctuary cultivation of land is allowed. प्राइवेट ऑनरशिप, कुछ लोग जो होते हैं अपना प्राइवेटली सेंचुरी में कल्टीवेट करते हैं लैंड को लेकर के, बट नेशनल पार्क में नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो ओवरऑल यू कैन से दैट in national park focus on all flora and fauna to be done. दिया जाता है फोकस पूरे फ्लोरा फाउना सब पर, बट इन सेंचुरी फोकस ओनली ऑन एनिमल्स. इज इट क्लियर? नेक्स्ट हियर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जिम कॉर्बेट नेशनल पार्क was established in 1935. Second is Kaziranga National Park has 2/3 of the world's great one-horned rhinoceros population. It is asked in examination, so you have to learn it. Among the protected areas in the world, Kaziranga boasts of the highest density of tigers and was declared a tiger reserve in 2006. The park is also home to large breeding population of elephants, wild water buffaloes and swamp deer. Bandipur National Park is one of the India's best known protected areas and is an important reserve for the Project Tiger. It is located in Karnataka in South India. It is asked. Wildlife sanctuary, just I think all of you have understood it. What is wildlife sanctuary? And so see here, there are about 543 wildlife sanctuaries in India. These aim to protect the habitat of wild animals so that they can live safely without any harmful human intervention. How many wildlife sanctuaries are found in India? 543 wildlife sanctuary. Jack Wadi Bird Sanctuary is situated in Aurangabad and Ahmednagar districts in Marathwada region of Maharashtra. So you have to underline this sentence and learn it. The presence of Nathsagar Lake in the sanctuary makes the surrounding areas rich in aquatic flora and fauna. It attracts many species of resident and migratory birds. There are nearly 200 species of birds in this area, including more than 70 species of migratory birds. Out of these, 45 major species belong to birds of international migration. Notable amongst these migratory birds are cranes, flamingos, Brahmini duck. Children, you have to learn it. Generally, it is asked in examination examples of migratory birds. So you have to learn all these birds. And not only migratory birds live in sanctuary, but local birds also live there. Gahir Mutt Turtle Sanctuary in Odisha is the breeding ground for the giant olive ridley turtles. They travel all the way from the Pacific Ocean to mate and lay their eggs here. You can see in the figure. Flora and fauna. This term I think all of you are aware. Flora means a group of plants in a particular region, whereas fauna a group of animals in a particular regions. Next is RAID data book. RAID data book, children. IUCN is full form of IUCN is International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. Now it is called WCU. WCU means World Conservation Union. Now it is called WCU, World Conservation Union. Yeah. And it maintains a list of animals and plants whose continued existence is getting threatened. This list is published in the form of RAID data book. Is it clear? Means IUCN maintains a RAID data book or RAID list, which is on कैटलॉग ऑफ टैक्सा फेसिंग रिस्क ऑफ एक्सटिंक्शन. जो लुप्त होने वाले, जो डिसअपियर होने वाले, जो एक्सटिंक्ट होने वाले जो भी स्पेसीज हैं उस सब का नाम उस रेड डाटा बुक में लिस्टेड होता है, इसीलिए इसका नाम रेड डाटा बुक पड़ गया है. Species are classified into different categories on the basis of perceived risk to their existence. Each RAID data book usually deals with a specific group of animals or plants, example reptiles, insects, mosses. These books are now being published in different countries and provide useful information on the threat status of different species. When no member of a species exists, yeah, here three different types of animals are given extinct, that is disappeared. Those animals or plants that is disappeared, now it is not found. These are extinct like dodo, passenger pigeon, Caribbean monk seal, etc. Whereas when a species faces a very high risk of extinction in the near future, children, due to any reason of human activity, suppose for hunting, for their benefit, human beings kill the animals. So now it is endangered species. अब वो समाप्त होने के कगार पे हैं ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज़ के कारनामों के कारण, ह्यूमन के एक्टिविटीज़ के कारण. सो इसको कहते हैं endangered species like blue whale, giant panda, snow leopard, African wild dog and tiger are some of the endangered species. The vulnerable species. What is difference between endangered and vulnerable? See, actually vulnerable species are not endangered species. ऐसा नहीं है कि उसका वो समाप्त होने वाला है, बट अगर उसकी सही ढंग से अगर उसके छोड़ दिया जाए, नहीं देखा जाए, उसका रख रखाव नहीं हो, तो वो भी इंडेंजर्ड हो सकता है. See here, the vulnerable species are those that face a high risk of extinction in the medium term. The cheetah, gaur lion and sloth bear are some of the vulnerable species. Next is endemic species. Endemic species are unique to a particular geographical location. Actually, it is found in a particular habitat, particular location, not everywhere. Yeah, such as a specified island, some habitat type, a nation or some other well-defined zone. To be endemic to a place or area means found only in that part of the world and nowhere else. For example, the orange breasted sunbird is endemic to Fynbos. This implies that it is exclusively found only in the Fynbos vegetation type of Southwest and South Africa. Lion-tailed macaque is endemic to the western Ghats of Southwest India. So you have to learn lion-tailed macaque. It is endemic, but which part, where it is found? So you can say Western Ghats of Southwest India. Just like orange-breasted sunbird is endemic, but from where? Then you have to say fynbos vegetation of southwestern South Africa. The extinction of endemic species has many causes. These include pollution and natural disasters. However, some human action is given here, like number one, loss of habitat. Children, if we destroy the forest, human beings, if harm the forest, then the habitat will be harmed. Next is over exploitation. When living beings, living organisms are hunted to such an extent that their population is not able to maintain itself even if it was initially abundant. For example, passenger pigeons, once numerous across North America, were hunted for food and are now extinct. अगर किसी भी जानवर का ज़्यादा ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन होगा तो फिर वो क्या होगा, एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाएगा, समाप्त हो जाएगा ना. Just like introduced species, when new species come in the residents, then for the competition and for getting food, in what happens here due to introduced species, due to new species, when new species come, then the living beings, the species that lives there may be extinct. Next is ecosystem disruption. The living organisms in an ecosystem are often linked together. Suppose in food chain, when any one trophic level is harmed, then all will be imbalanced. Suppose you know that plants are producers and plants are eaten by deer. If suppose deers are hunted, डियर को का शिकार कर लिया जाता है, डियर को मार दिया जाता है, किल कर दिया जाता है, देन लायन विल बी इफेक्टेड, क्योंकि उसे खाना नहीं मिलेगा, भोजन नहीं मिलेगा तो लायन भी मर जाएगा. इस तरह से क्या होगा, इम्बैलेंस हो जाएगा. तो फूड चेन जो है वो बैलेंस, नेचुरल बैलेंस करके रखता है. सी हियर, this link might be a food chain, the pollination of plants by insects, bats and birds, or the shelter that plants provide for certain animals. Because of these links, the reduction in the population of one species can affect the population of other species. The projects and programs concerning nature and started by the Indian government include Project Tiger, nature camps and jungle lodges. These have been organized to promote wildlife awareness among people. These projects not only help in preserving our natural heritage but also encourage eco-tourism. Is it clear? Next is migration. Migration is the periodic movement. What do you mean by migration? Not only plants, not only birds, animals migrate, but human beings also migrate in the search of job, in the search of food, shelter. Living organisms migrate from one place to another. For breeding also migrates. So that is, migration is the periodic movement of a species of animals or birds from the place where it has been living to a new area and its subsequent return journey back to the original home. When animals and birds migrate, it is usually to find abundant food and a favorable place to breed. The precise methods by which animals navigate and know where to go are still obscure. अब देखो कितनी लंबी लंबी दूरी तय करके बर्ड्स जो हैं वो आ जाते हैं, माइग्रेट करते हैं. नो, इट इज वेरी सरप्राइज्ड फॉर अस, बट हाउ इट माइग्रेट्स. See here, in between eye and the brain, birds has a tiny mass of tissue which perhaps acts as magnetic compass. So in this way birds can reach their places. Reforestation means afforestation. Reforestation, also known as afforestation, means the process of restoring and recreating areas of forest that once existed but have been deforested or otherwise removed or destroyed. The practice is rapidly gaining momentum. In order to promote conservation practices, it is, however, important to keep in mind that while selecting the plants for reforestation, one should be careful that these are the same species of plants that were there at that area earlier. This promotes the rapid re-establishment of both flora and fauna in that deforested area. This helps to make it a forest again. Is it clear, children? अगर कोई पौधा को काट दिया गया, कोई प्लांट को, कोई ट्री को, बड़े पेड़ को काट दिया गया, तो वहाँ पर वही पेड़ फिर से लगा देना चाहिए, सो दैट फौना एंड फ्लोरा फिर से एस्टेब्लिश्ड हो जाए. Do you know, see, the Forest Conservation Act 1980 is one of the most effective legislations contributing to reduction in deforestation. This was enacted to reduce indiscriminate diversion of forest land for non-forestry purposes and to help regulate and control the recorded forest land use changes. Next is recycling of paper. Children, this is the last topic of this chapter. Paper recycling is the process of recovering waste paper and remaking it into new paper products. Paper suitable for recycling is called scrap paper. Today, 90% of paper pulp is made from wood. Paper production accounts for about 35% of felled trees. Recycling of newsprint therefore saves a lot of wood. Children, here 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse and recycle. This 3 R's is very important for conservation. We can conserve by using it. Reduce means use in less amount. Reuse, use again. And recycle paper, make paper again or make things again. That is recycling. It has been estimated that recycling of even half of the world's paper would avoid the deforestation of 20 million acres of forest land. We all can contribute in this process. We should reduce wastage of paper and try to reuse paper whenever and wherever possible. This chapter is completed now, children. So you have to listen or watch this video very carefully again and again. Then you can understand all these facts and then you will do question answer. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.